I saw a guy holding a goat, driving one of those. There was another where a guy was driving one and a gentleman was seated back to back with him and he's holding like a lazy boy. He's like, dude, it's wild.
At Haven ASG, we make jet ownership easy. Any jet, every need, one Haven.
Welcome back to the Haven ASG Podcast. Excited today. I got Mr. Dubb Alexander here. He is the Director of Brand and Culture for Haven. He's going to be hosting and conducting a lot of these Haven ASG podcasts, so I wanted to take a moment and let you all get to know him a little bit. So we're going to throw Dubb in the hot seat for a minute. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Well, item number one, what's up with your name?
This is a totally fair question. It is Dubb, and it's Dubb because that's cooler. But it really comes from my initials, GW.
Yeah.
And my grandfather always went by his initials, RC, like the cola.
Yeah.
And so he'd always call me GW.
GW.
But, grew up in the hood, and all my friends called me G-Dub. When I moved to Amarillo, G-Dub made people very nervous. What is a G-Dub? And so dropped the G, just went with Dubb, and that kind of eased everything out a little bit.
So you've been through many iterations of nicknames.
That's true.
Yeah.
If it keeps getting shorter, it'll be Duh or Ub, I guess.
D, what's up, D?
What's hilarious, though, is that oftentimes people will text me, and the autocorrect will correct Dubb to dumb. So it'll say, hey, dumb.
What's up, dumb? Hey, dumb.
I always point it out because it's a
That's
good
hilarious.
opportunity for a laugh. What'd you call me? So,
That's funny.
yeah.
Well, you live your life by two core values. What are they?
I do. My two core values are, number one, if I can't laugh, I'm not going. Because I like to laugh. And number two is, if we're not changing the world, I'm not playing.
Yeah,
Because life's too short, man. So
Got to change the world.
those are the two jams, man.
Well, you're in a good spot to do it.
Right? I agree.
Well, you said that you're from the hood. That can mean a lot for people that are in different parts of the world. What does that mean to you?
That's true. So I grew up in South Oak Cliff, which is essentially inner city Southside Dallas. And it was pretty crazy growing up down there. And there's been a lot of gentrification that's happened in Oak Cliff now. So like the Bishop Arts area is really nice and all that. But it's very different from when I was growing up down there. So there's a lot of gang violence and drug activity and stuff like that. And so moving to Amarillo, even though, it was a little bit later after college, but moving up here, I was like, wow, it's super peaceful.
Hard to
Not getting
sleep
shot
without
at.
gunshots?
Yeah. Just got to pull that up in the background, YouTube video. But,
Yeah, exactly. Get the sirens going.
yeah.
So what were you like as a young man growing up in that area?
Yeah, so I've always loved music and been involved in that. And so I fell in love with hip hop early on, Run DMC and LL Cool J, all that good stuff. And so really the first, I guess, chapter of my life, it was really about music and pursuing that dream. And I had some fun, had some decent shows opening for some bigger names. Never cracked the code to become a big name,
Right.
But did that growing up. It was my first passion for sure, and had a lot of fun. Enjoyed it, but yeah, it was mainly just about, man, if it's music, I'm in, and also just excellence. Like how is it that different bands sound so differently and different bands are tighter, and I've always been one to break down the understanding behind how things work. And
Right.
even like with hip hop, growing up loving that art form, I remember when Eminem came out, and so I had the spiral, and I would write down his lyrics, then I had highlighters, and I would highlight all the different rhyme patterns he would have going on at the same time. And
Right.
I like to understand the science behind things and just bring the highest level of performance to a thing. And so those two things have carried over in everything that I've done in life, but it really started in the music scene, and definitely don't regret any of it, but it seems like a long time ago now as well.
Seems like a world away, huh?
Absolutely.
What about your family life? What you got? Kids, wife?
Yeah, so I've been married to Beth for 22 years now, and she's put up with me a long time. She's amazing. And she's a teacher here in the Amarillo area. And then my daughter Cinda is 14. She's a freshman, and she is all about musical theater. My wife was a professional dancer in the Texas musical drama. That's actually what brought her from San Angelo to Amarillo.
Oh.
So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
That's how I met her and was able to lock her down. And so she choreographs for all of the Amarillo Little Theater Academy
Right.
musicals. And my daughter has been dancing and acting and singing in those, ever since she was like 3 years old. So they get to do that together, and that's amazing. They're in the Prince of Egypt production right now.
Nice.
And so things get really busy during those times, but like also I can't make them any happier, man. If they've got a show going on, that's the jam right there. So
she's turning into quite the comedian as well.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious.
Funny,
She's super funny. I dabble in some comedy, and she'll go with me to the open mic sometimes and run little sets. And it's so funny because I'm a amateur comedian. Her mom's a professional educator. I've noticed that if Beth goes to pick her up from school, then she'll tell her everything I learned that day. And if I go pick her up from school, she'll tell me, hey, these are the jokes I made. This is how many people laughed and how good the bit was. I'm like, you got me and your mom figured out.
She knows the KPIs that matter.
Yes. She has her audience dialed in. She's hilarious. Yeah.
So with that musical ambitions and everything you were chasing there, you had a pretty significant career change around 30. What was that all about?
I did, man. Just really kind of unexpectedly ended up getting some mentorship in the area of government consultation, specifically in the global sphere. Mm-hmm. So not so much federal government or even local government, but the whole global government dynamic, which is its own entity. It's its own thing. It runs radically different from everything else. And so as I followed that mentorship and just the doors of opportunity that were opening up, I was as shocked as anybody. I'll say that for sure. But going from, the music scene and, being all tatted up and loving hip hop and heavy metal to, having to wear a suit and tie, being buttoned up, going and meeting with government officials and just helping connect solutions to issues that they were having in nations, and then developing a real specialty when it comes to emotional intelligence and self-awareness, how that can be developed within the context of a team culture, which will allow, teams to work in a greater level of harmony, which the end result of that is impact. And so just really developing all of those skill sets and just finding that niche in international government just really worked out for me. And it wasn't anything that I saw coming, didn't have it on, my grid of even, careers that people could have. But yeah, just jumped into that head first and had a really good run with it. But it's good to be at Haven now, man. I'm excited to bring that same skill set over here.
Yeah, now we get to benefit from all the things you learned in that world. And if you can get people on that level to collaborate and work better together and bring more impact, imagine what you can do in a corporate environment. It's significant. So we're lucky to have that skill set here. But
yeah, I'm excited. I've done it in a few different companies in the corporate space, but just as an outside consultant coming in for a specific amount of time. This is going to be really exciting because of the amount of engagement I'm going to be able to have, the long-term aspect of it. And so I've been already running through my tool belt and seeing where I'd plug in some different things in some different areas, and it's going to be fun, man.
I imagine you with an Iron Man suit with all these different gadgets without with all that world travel and all that stuff going on. You've got to have some crazy stories. What's one you could tell?
Definitely have some crazy stories. So the one that comes to mind, it was really early on. I was still in my mentorship period, so I wasn't even getting paid, but got an invitation to go and work with the first family of Uganda. And so, but I had to pay my own way there and all the things, because you're just you're trying to prove yourself, build your reputation. And so Beth was able to go with me, but we were super broke at the time because I'd been a musician, and so we got us tickets, but they were the cheap seats. And I'm not sure if anybody has ever flown from Amarillo to Uganda, but that is a long, long flight, and in coach economy way in the back. It's rough, but I was excited about the opportunity, obviously. So we took that flight over there, and we were there about a week. And the day that we were supposed to fly back, the First Lady asked us to attend a meeting, and we were like, well, we'd love to be there, but our flight, it's leaving 2 hours after you want to have that meeting. And to get from the airport to the State House, it's, it took us probably 2 hours to do that on the way there. And the lady's like, oh, no worries. The first lady's like, no worries. They will hold the plane, and we will give you presidential escort. I was like,
they'll hold the plane.
Hey guys, we'll get back to the video in a sec. But first, quick question for you business owners and high achievers watching. When you're traveling around the country for deals, scaling teams, or managing stress, are you actually flying with a team that makes your life easier? Or are you dealing with scheduling headaches, surprise maintenance bills, and too many moving parts behind the scenes? Well, that's why today's sponsor, Haven Aviation Services Group, exists. Think of them as the safe haven of the sky. Haven is a vertically integrated aviation company, meaning they handle everything under one roof. From your private jet charters, aircraft management, brokerage, maintenance, avionics, and premium grade services at their FBO. For aircraft owners especially, this is the absolute real best value. Instead of juggling pilots, insurance, scheduling, maintenance, hangars, legal docs, Haven manages it all in one place. No guessing, no surprises, and no wondering why something suddenly costs six figures. Their entire focus is transparency, safety, and long-term planning. So you actually trust the people managing your aircraft and don't have to stress about it at all. So if you want an aviation partner that operates with the same discipline and results-driven mindset we talk about on the show, hit the link in the description to connect with Haven Aviation Services Group. Big thanks to Haven ASG for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to the show.
shoot, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, this is crazy. So we go and do this last meeting at the State House. And then we walk outside, and the driver they had given us for the entirety of the time we were there was there with the Land Cruiser. But this time, there's a couple of cars in front, a couple of cars in back, and they have these guys that are sitting in the window, you know, with the machine guns and stuff, and you got the flags. And our driver was like, you ready? And Beth and I were like, yeah.
I guess.
And, man, they hit the sirens and just hauled out of there. And so in Entebbe, there is this huge roundabout that is insane. There's like no traffic rules going on. There's these little scooters, they call them bodas everywhere, weaving in and out of traffic. And like, I saw a guy holding a goat, you know, driving one of those. There was another where a guy was driving one and a gentleman was seated back to back with him, and he's holding like a lazy boy. He's like, dude, it's wild. And so we are hauling towards, you know, we're probably a mile or so from that intersection, and we are going super fast. I'm like, man, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And so the sirens are going. The guys that are hanging out of the windows with machine guns, they're like slapping cars, yelling at people to get out of the way. And we get to this one point, and our lane is completely stopped. And without slowing down at all, they pull into the oncoming traffic lane. And so now cars are just moving out of the way. And my wife, who is not a cusser, is like, oh, shit. I pulled out my phone. I was like, I'm going to record. I got Beth cussing over here.
Yeah, she must have been highly scared.
For sure. Then we come up, and it's jammed in the oncoming lane. They just pull over onto the sidewalks. Like, we went past this little cafe, hit a table.
Holy
like,
cow,
people
like
are
a
diving
movie,
out of the way. I was like, am I in a James Bond movie? Like, what is happening? So in about 30 to 40 minutes, we pull up in front of the airport. And so they take our bags. I don't even know where they go from there. And they take us into the Diplomat's Lounge. And so now we're sitting in the Diplomat Lounge. The plane's probably already less than an hour late, but, you know, 30, 40 minutes.
Late
Already
enough to
fully
have
loaded.
everyone mad.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I see a transport car coming up, and it's got a little yellow light on it. It pulls up in front of the Diplomat Lounge, and so Beth and I get in it, and they drive us right up to the plane. And it's a big plane, right? And I can see all these faces in the window, and everybody's like looking out, trying to see like, who is this that we had to wait for, and now they're being escorted to the plane. Must be someone famous, right? We're nobodies. And the worst part is all that happens, and then we get on the plane, and we have to walk all the way to the back. We were literally second to the last seats, and just pass by everybody.
Has to glare at you the whole way.
For sure.
Oh,
hilarious. But
you're a presidential escort to your econo seats, huh?
Yes. I was like, my world does not make sense right now.
That's a little confusing.
Good times.
That's pretty
crazy stories.
Dude, that sounds like a damn movie set, blowing the sidewalk or the tables off the sidewalks.
Oh my gosh. Insane.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, that is how I now envision Uganda. That's funny.
Cool country, man.
A couple of years ago, you shifted out of all that UN stuff and the foreign relations and all that, and went a new direction. What have you been doing the last couple of years since then?
Yeah, so I got to the point where I was traveling so much, and my daughter was about to go into high school, and I think the year before I'd been on the road, mostly internationally, like 130 days, and I was like, man, I'm missing like a lot of her life, and I just needed to make a shift. And so I scaled that way down. I still do a little bit of consulting on the side, but I was like, okay, what do I want to do now? And core value number one, if I can't laugh, I'm not going. I love comedy. I knew that Amarillo used to have a comedy club. I was like, man, we need to start a comedy club. And so I was like, man, I haven't been around Amarillo much lately. Who do I know that has, a real business mindset and understands the culture of Amarillo? I was like, Travis, I'm going to reach out to you. And so that's actually how we reconnected. We've been friends for a long time, but it kind of fallen out of touch the last few years. So I was like, hey, man, let me come by and pick your brain on the best way to get a comedy club started here. And luckily, that's what led to you mentioning you needed someone to help with the podcast, and I had some experience in that realm, and then this opened up. But yeah, so mainly just dabbling in stand-up comedy, and then getting ready to leverage my skill set intentionally and really focused into this industry. It's gonna be a blast.
We'll save it for a future episode, but we need to talk about your last corporate comedy session.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's
that was a good one.
That'll be a fun story at some point.
100%.
What do you most look forward to bringing to Haven?
Yeah, so one, I think, and this is such a curious industry to me, and you're in kind of an interesting spot where, because there's such a shortage of people that provide all of the services that you do, and because of the reputation that you've built, you haven't really needed to have that big brand presence and all of the media components. But there's also all of this opportunity that you have vision for that will require some of those aspects. And so, I mean, I love branding, I love style, I love what media can communicate, not just through the excellence of how it sounds, but the way that it's seen and all of those different things. So I'm really looking forward to establishing your brand and expanding it to a place where we'll really have global recognition. Mm-hmm. And I think because there isn't a lot of media in this space that's done with a really creative bent as well. And so I think my time in entertainment, whether it was music or comedy, will kind of give us the edge when it comes to pushing out media, and government's the same way. Corporate business can be a little dry, dusty, boring, if you're not intentional to inject some entertainment vibe into it.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to bringing that. And then as far as the culture side goes, I mean, you and I both have such a value for culture, understand the power of it, the importance of it, how to shape it. And you had already established such a good culture here, but you're also beginning to expand into different locations. And so being able to ensure that culture is replicated anywhere that carries the Haven moniker is going to be a big deal. Yeah, just also recognizing just the individual value in all of the employees and kind of bringing that out, spotlighting it. This culture is made up of the people. Sure. And so just as it's our responsibility to provide good culture to them, it's also, important for us to recognize all of the benefits and aspects that they bring, and to really bring that up to the next level of integration so that we're benefiting from what they're bringing, they're benefiting from what we're bringing, and just bumping that up to the max.
The bar has been set pretty high on your disappointment level with aviation trade show entertainment, so we're going to see what you can do to help
boring.
Yeah,
but that's perfect for us.
Oh, it's great
because
for
man,
us,
we just add a little bit of that in,
add
and
a little sizzle to it, and
it'll become the most enjoyable, entertaining experience at those spots, man. So let's flip it up, And that's another thing that excites me. I feel like the opportunity to do something in an industry that hasn't been done before. Like, how often do you get an opportunity like that, and especially in an established industry?
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to be able to make a little bit of a splash and have some fun while we're doing it.
I think it'll be good. It'll be a good revitalization of the industry as a whole, and elevating the game as a whole. And
yeah,
we'll be leading the charge on it with your mastermind behind it. So
let's do it.
Well, we're
there's something in this big old dome I got. So.
It's not just empty space, huh?
Not just a hat rack.
Not just a hat rack. That's all mine is a hat rack. Well, I know I'm super excited. I've got utmost confidence in what you're going to be bringing to the table, and we're getting to benefit from a lot of years of all your other stuff you've been doing, and it's going to elevate our brand significantly. So we're blessed to have you. Anything else you want to share?
Man, just excited to be here. Big shout out to all of the employees. I look forward to getting to know all of you, myself, and to the audience. I look forward to being able to introduce you to the people that comprise the culture here at Haven and make everything run, and just bring a deeper understanding to all of the services that Haven ASG provides, and how we are unique in the way that we approach the industry as well. So it's going to be a good time, lots of interesting conversations, and I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Keep an eye out for all the fun Haven ASG episodes that are going to be coming your way.
We'll see you.
At Haven ASG, we make jet ownership easy. Any jet, every need, one Haven.